Hey there and welcome. We're about to dive deep into the art of negotiation, but I want you to forget almost everything you think you know. See, that whole idea of meeting in the middle and splitting the difference, well, what if that's the very thing holding you back from getting what you really want? Let's get into it.
So let me ask you a question right off the bat. We're all taught that compromise is the goal, right? It's the fair, win-win solution. But is it? Really? Because I think in the world of compromise, a lot of the time, nobody actually wins.
Just imagine this for a second. You and your partner are planning a big vacation. You're dreaming of quiet, solitude, maybe some hiking in the mountains. Your partner, on the other hand, wants to be on a lively beach with lots of people and things to do. So you compromise. You book a cabin by a lake. It's fine, but it's not the mountains and it's definitely not the beach. So in the end, you've both given something up, and that initial spark of excitement is kind of gone. You split the difference and you both lost out on what you truly wanted. And that's the problem we're going to solve today.
And this brings us to our first major idea, what I call the compromise trap. It's this belief that a 50-50 split is the ultimate goal of any disagreement. But really, it's a trap that stops us from finding a truly great solution that might be just around the corner.
Okay, this slide really lays out the massive shift in thinking we need to make. On the left, you've got the old way, negotiation as a fight. It's all about my position versus your position. It's a war of words, and you're always thinking about your next attack. But now, look at the right side. This is a whole new world. It's about discovery. It's not about winning. It's about uncovering a third way that maybe neither of you saw before. The whole goal shifts from a weak compromise to a genuine collaboration, and it all starts with having a positive, open mind.
So, let's explore this new path of discovery. The objective here isn't to outsmart the other person or win with a killer argument. No, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to become a detective. Your job is to uncover what the other person really needs deep down.
And this right here is the golden rule. Before anyone agrees to anything you're proposing, they have this incredibly powerful, fundamental human need. They want to feel heard. They want to feel understood and accepted. This is why listening isn't just about being polite. It is your single most powerful tool for making a real connection.
And speaking of powerful tools, let's talk about your own brain for a second. There's some amazing research that shows we are a whopping 31% smarter when we're in a positive state of mind. Just let that sink in for a moment. When you walk into a conversation with curiosity and a positive outlook, you don't just feel better, you are literally sharper. You're a more creative and effective problem solver. The flip side? A negative mindset actually makes you 31% dumber. So the choice is pretty obvious, isn't it?
This really breaks down what's going on in any negotiation. Think of it like a ladder. The bottom rung, the absolute foundation, is that people need to feel understood. Once they feel heard, the next rung up is feeling respected. It's only after you've climbed those first two rungs that you can even start talking about the actual deal, the thing you want. If you try to jump straight to the top, the whole ladder just falls over.
All right, so if understanding is the name of the game, how do we actually get there? Well, let's get practical. It's time to open up the toolkit and look at a few techniques that are so simple, but believe me, they are incredibly effective.
Okay, tool number one is called mirroring, and it is so simple you're probably going to think, there's no way this actually works. But trust me, it's like magic. All you do is repeat the last 1 to 3 important words the other person just said. That's it. Here is a classic example. Imagine someone tells you, I just don't have the budget for this quarter. Now, your first instinct is probably to argue, right? To list all the reasons why it's a great value. But instead, you just mirror them. With a calm, questioning tone, you say, the budget for this quarter? It's not an attack, it's an invitation. And it prompts them to expand on that, to tell you the real story behind that statement. So here's how you do it step by step. First, listen for those key 1 to 3 words. Second, repeat them back, like a question. And now for the hardest part. The part that really makes this work. You go silent for at least 4 seconds. I know it's going to feel a little awkward, but that silence creates a space that the other person will feel an urge to fill. And that's when they start giving you the information you really need. That's when the magic happens.
All right, let's move on to the philosophy that ties all of these tools together. It's called tactical empathy. Now, this isn't about being nice or sympathetic. It's about understanding the other person's perspective on a deep, strategic level.
Let's be really clear about this. Tactical empathy does not mean you agree with the other person. It doesn't mean you feel sorry for them.
It's about putting yourself in their shoes so you can understand their feelings, their mindset, and what's driving them. Your mission is to hear what's behind their words.
So a fantastic way to put tactical empathy into action is a tool called labeling. You basically give a name to the emotion you're sensing from them, but the key is to always start with a gentle phrase like "it seems like" or "it sounds like." This frames it as an observation, not an accusation, which is way less confrontational.
Let's say a client is clearly upset because the project is late. Before they can even start yelling, you can completely change the dynamic with a label. You could say something like, "It seems like you're concerned that we missed the deadline, and you're worried we can't be trusted to deliver." The moment you say their fear out loud, it's like a switch flips in their brain. They go from being on the attack to thinking, "Whoa, this person gets it." It calms them down and makes them want to work with you.
Okay, prepare to have your mind blown a little bit, because this next idea goes against everything we've ever been taught. We're always trying to get people to say yes, right? But here's the secret. Yes can feel like a trap. It creates pressure. The real magic is in the word no. No makes people feel safe. It gives them a sense of control. Just think about the difference between "do you have 5 minutes" and "is now a bad time to talk." Asking if it's a bad time invites them to say no, which makes them feel powerful. And they're way more likely to say, "No, it's fine," and actually give you their full attention. No isn't the end of a conversation, it's the real beginning.
So if the goal isn't to get a yes, then what in the world are we working towards? Well, all this listening, all this mirroring and labeling, it's all leading to one very specific breakthrough moment. A moment that is signaled by just 2 simple words.
The ultimate goal, the holy grail of any negotiation, is to lead the other person to an epiphany. It's that aha moment where they feel so completely and totally understood by you that everything just clicks. They realize that you don't just hear their words, you actually get them. You see their side of the story. That's the moment the defensive walls crumble and you can finally start building something together.
And this slide, right here, is the entire playbook. The 2 words you want to hear, the words that signal victory, are "that's right." When someone says "that's right," they're telling you, "You get it, you understand me, that's your green light." But you have to watch out for its evil twin, "you're right." They sound similar, but they mean the exact opposite. "You're right" is a polite way of saying, "Okay, I've heard enough, please go away now." It ends the conversation. "That's right" is where real collaboration begins.
So I want to leave you with a challenge this week. Think about a difficult conversation you've got coming up. Maybe it's with your boss, a client, your partner, whoever. What would happen if you went into that conversation with a totally different goal? What if, instead of trying to win or get a yes, your only mission was to listen so deeply that you earned those 2 magic words? That's right. Try it. I think you'll be amazed at what happens.